DTV. Oh yeah. Hi, Jeff here. Just wanted to give a little bit of an introduction to some of the ideas behind the channel that I created. I have seen a lot of videos online, probably created by the people that sell prosthetic legs, and they show people climbing mountains, and they show people downhill skiing, and they show people doing all kinds of fantastic and wonderful things that must have been Olympic gold medalists, because it's just not the reality. And I don't want to discourage anybody from attempting anything. I mean, the world is your oyster. Go get it. But in this case, having a prosthetic leg, an above the knee one in my case, is going to limit the things that you're going to be able to do. It's just reality. It's not. I'm not trying to be negative or downplay any of the things. I'm a very positive person. If I was, I doubt that I would have made this far if I wasn't very positive. And I just want to show the reality. I want to show what it's really like for people who are perhaps going to have a prosthetic leg, don't know much about it, or family members of people who have, had a leg amputated and are about to have one, or have one and maybe you don't understand some of the things that they're going through. And this is just going to be reality. And the first video I did was putting the leg on, which was interesting. Got a few nice comments on that one from friends of mine. But this one's going to be about things that I can still do at work. And I'm able to do about 25% of what my job used to entail, mainly because I used to have to go into factories and crawl under machines and tell people what type of wheels they needed for their machines, and that's not really something I could do anymore. That basically falls to my partner, who has to go in there and do a lot of that, and she's pretty good about it. I mean, it's not like there's much of a choice in the matter, and she happens to be my wife, so she gets it done. That's the main part. I doubt that I would have been able to get through any of this without her, but I wanted to do the video to show what I can still do at work. And as you're about to see, some things are not that difficult, and I'm going to show a little bit of what is, and the things that are real, not these beautifully created videos that I wonder how many times they had to shoot them. People falling down, and falling down is just something you got to get used to, especially when you get your leg for the very first few months. I've had mine for about a year now, so I'm able to walk okay. But the reality of having a prosthetic leg, is that you're no longer able to do what you used to be able to do. You can only wear it for about 8, maybe 10 hours a day. It starts to hurt. Walking any length of time on it is painful. It's plastic, and you have a piece of plastic basically choking your thigh to death, and it puts all your weight on a part of your body that isn't meant to hold that type of weight. And I'm sure there's a scientific explanation for what that is, but I can tell you right now that it's painful, and that the leg can only be worn for a certain length of time. I can only walk on it 1,000 yards, and that's it. I want to tear it off. It hurts so much. And at the same time, the leg gets me out of the wheelchair, and it gets me to be able to be mobile. I can leave my house. I could drive my car. I can go to work. There are things that I can still do, and thank God for the leg at the same time. But it has its limitations. And I think reality is what we need to talk about. And at least that's what I plan on doing on this channel, is showing you what I can and can't do, so that if you're a person who's going to be getting a leg, you have a realistic expectation of what is coming your way. And I wish someone would have given that much to me, instead of telling me how great everything was going to be. And based on why I had my leg amputated, being alive is probably something I should be thankful for, and I certainly am. But I wish I would have been given a more realistic picture of how things are going to be. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of the things I can do at work and some of the things I can't. So when I first got out of the hospital, I had to go to work in my wheelchair. I was in the hospital for about 8 weeks, and for the wounds to heal. And I had to go to work in a wheelchair, which was really very limiting on the things that I could do. You could see me sitting here at my lonely desk in the back, and doing some computer work, which you can still do. You know, taking orders and that sort of thing. And then we had a friend of ours who lent me a buggy that one of their parents had been using and then was no longer able to use. So they gave me the buggy to use, and I buzzed around the shop, which is only about 3,000 square feet. So I buzzed around the shop in this, and you can see there where the leg is amputated just slightly above the knee. And I'm wearing my comfy pants, which is cool. I get to wear comfy pants to work, which, that was probably about the best thing. But there was really not much I could do. There's my head of security there. You can see my dog at my feet, in charge of licking customers to death. But you can see behind me all the boxes and the kind of things that I could no longer pick up. I could no longer carry them. And I certainly couldn't carry them until I had the prosthetic. And you can actually see the leg there where it's healing. And I was waiting to get the prosthetic at this stage of the game. And I went to work really just because I was bored sitting at home and I was really anxious to get back to work. But the reality was there wasn't much I could do except really get in the way. Keep the chief of security entertained. We did buy a chair. I don't know if you can see how that chair is elevated to get me to bench level to put some of the product together. But I couldn't put the product together because I couldn't get it to the bench. So with people coming there, bringing the product to the bench, and me just putting it together, it really just was sort of more of a make work project for me, give me something to do, make me feel a little bit better, give me some more self-esteem. But, as far as work is concerned, the self-esteem was running on low at that stage of the game. There really wasn't much that I could do. And let's flip over to where I have the leg, and we can see that there are some things that I can now do, but not everything. But time to build some casters at work. It's everybody's favorite time. It's caster building time with one leg. Allow me to demonstrate how that is. Nothing to it. Yeah, that looked easy. Now let's go to some of the stuff that is really hard to do, and that is reach the bottom shelf. There's a couple different ways you can do that, neither of which are easy. One, you can do what I'm doing right there, which is pushing my thigh backwards and straightening the leg out, and then kind of really awkwardly bending over to pick stuff up. It's one way to do it. The other way you can do it is you can lock the knee out, disengage the knee so it doesn't work anymore, and it won't bend no matter what. But anytime you reach for the bottom shelf, you can't squat down like you used to be able to. So, there we go. Something off the top shelf would work. Oops, no. Bottom shelf, no good. As you can see there, I got to stick my head all the way into the cage and then throw them behind me. And in order to get them out, it is far and away the hardest part of the job. Is bending down to pick things up. Bending down to pick up a heavy box is impossible. Can't do it anymore. Similarly, can't take one off a delivery truck and walk it 50 feet and drop it in someone's plant. Almost impossible to do. Wow, look at those pretty purple wheels. If you need some, let me know. I know a guy. And here you can see me bending the opposite way. I'm turning the sideways to reach into it. It's not any easier, I can assure you. Um, it, it it's very stressful on the only leg, and it's very stressful on the lower back. But I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. You can get it done. It's certainly not easy, and it's the part of the job I hate the most. But you know, getting them back to the bench and building them, that's not the difficult part. But you can see there are limitations with every part of this leg situation. They're just sometimes there's just no easy way to do it. You just got to get in there and get her done. And lastly, the chair, which I mistakenly said earlier that we purchased, but I was corrected that it was actually a donation from a company called Ergo Now, friends of ours, and thank you for that. And you can see me here how the chair is designed so that you can sit at bench level, which the bench is actually higher than normal because when I used to stand at it for hours with two legs, I was actually taller than most benches based on my height. So we had to get a chair that was a little bit taller, and that was provided by Ergo Now. It's a second shameless plug for them. But you can see how much easier it makes the job. I get to take a load off and sit down and rest, and it eliminates extra hours of standing. Now, unfortunately, I have to run and get all the product and bring it back to the bench. And as soon as I get sat down with everything, inevitably I forgot something and have to run and get it. But okay, there you have it, the work video. Look forward to the golf video coming next. Sure has. My golf swing sure has had to undergo some reconstruction, but the bar was never really very high to begin with, so it's not like there was any way that it could be much worse than it was. But I certainly have a lot of fun playing it. Anyways, thanks for watching the video, and hopefully those of you who are looking at this situation of having a prosthetic, or maybe you're in the hospital. I certainly watched a lot of videos when I was in the hospital. One I would highly recommend is the amputee OT. She's on YouTube and she's really good. I watched every one of her videos multiple times, and some really good stuff there. But anyway, I said I'd make this short, so time to get off and get ready to do some editing on the golf video. So we got that to look forward to. Thanks for watching.